Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm bringing you my September to be read pile. So these are the books that I would like to prioritize reading in September. It's not an exhaustive list of everything that I would like to read in the month. These are just the books that at the moment I feel like prioritizing. Now, August was the first month in ages that I actually completed my TBR. I think the last time I completed my TBR was January. But I'm very relaxed about my TBRs. I don't feel like I need to be strict with myself, although there are particular categories of books that I like to pick from. So, getting into the books, and as ever, they will be linked down below in the description if you want to find out more about them. But my non-fiction pick for September is No Win Race by Derek A. Bardowell. This non-fiction book is about belonging, Britishness, and sport. I believe there is quite a lot of focus in this book on racism within lots of different sports in the UK. In August, I read The Football Factory, which is a fiction book from the 90s, and I was really surprised by how impactful I found that book. And I think having just read that book, this non-fiction book will have a particular resonance in relation to that. If you do want to hear my thoughts on The Football Factory, keep your eyes peeled for my August wrap-up. But yes, this is the non-fiction book I would like to read in September. I think I'm going to learn a lot from it. The poetry book I would like to prioritize reading in September is All the Journeys I Never Took by Rebecca Tantony. If you watched my Try a Poem tag, this was one of the collections that I tried out and I really enjoyed it, but it was just pibbed as a post for the book I wanted to read next. But this, I believe, is quite a confessional and political collection of poems, and it is from one of my favourite poetry publishers, Burning Eye Books, so I have quite high hopes going into this one. It's the kind of poetry that I'm normally really drawn to. My short story pick for the month is A Portable Shelter by Kirsty Logan. Now, strictly speaking, this isn't a short story collection, but it kind of is. It has an overarching plot, and it is about two women who are expecting a baby, but they agree they will only ever tell the baby things that are true, but they secretly tell the baby stories. And that's why I'm counting this as a short story collection, because it has those short stories in the book, I believe. This book is also set in Scotland, which is something that I'm really drawn to, and I have read some of Kirsty's writing before and really enjoyed it, and it's quite a slim one. So I feel like it will be one of those books that I settle down with in one evening and potentially fly through the whole thing, which is always a wonderful reading experience. My classic pick for the month is Elizabeth and Her German Garden by Elizabeth von Arnim. I am being quite kind to myself with my classic pick for the month because it is rather slim. Don't really know too much about this one beyond it being a story of liberation and gardening. Every few months I like to select 5 classic books that I would like to prioritize reading next, and I feel like I have picked all of the short ones from that list. So in the next couple months I am going to have to tackle the larger ones, but that is future Leanne's problem. Every month I like to do something called Tops and Bottoms, where I read a book from the top of my TBR and a book from the bottom of my TBR. So from the bottom of my TBR, that is a book that has been on my TBR for the longest time. I have sucked at this all year, but we're persevering. I did do it in August, in my defense. But the book I have picked is Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. All I know about this book is that it is about 2 guys who have the same name. That's all I know. I've read a lot of John Green. John Green was kind of the author that got me back into reading when I was a teenager. Probably him and Marcus Zusak. And I've tragically not read any David Levithan before. I have rather subdued hopes for this book. So, I feel like it's probably going to surpass my expectations. That's my logic anyway. The book that I'm choosing from my most recent book haul, so from the top of my TBR, is also a YA book. I feel like I am kind of craving reads that are not necessarily easier, but reads I feel like I can get through quite quickly, and the writing style in YA is normally something that I can kind of fly through. But the book I have chosen is No Big Deal by Bethany Rutter. This is a YA book that is full of body positivity, about valuing yourself, about not settling, and about the power of female friendship. So they are all things that I think I'm really going to enjoy. Please ignore how damaged this proof cover is. So this is my TBR for September. I do think I've been quite kind to myself in that I don't think this is a massively challenging TBR, but I deserve to enjoy my reading. And I do think I've got back into the swing of reading regularly. In July, I only read 6 books, which for me isn't that many. And I definitely got back into the swing of things in August. I read quite a few books in August. I haven't totted it up yet, but we will see when it comes to my wrap up. Do let me know if you have read any of these books, if you have any thoughts on them. Do leave me a comment down below. Or if you haven't read any of these, let me know what you are planning on reading in September. I love hearing what you guys are planning on getting to. And as I mentioned, these will all be linked down below in the description. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will talk to you in my next video.